So I hear that you want to homeschool, and I am so happy and I'm so proud of you. But before we talk about pulling kids out of school and we go through the logistics of getting started homeschool, there are a few things that I feel like you need to have in place before you bring in such a new thing into your home. So, what is that? Well, it's called care. And years ago, I created a video, this one right here, and that video was extremely popular because I talked about caring for yourself, which is huge, it's important. And years later, I think it's been 4 or 5 years later, it still applies. Care is pretty much what it sounds like. It is providing self-care for yourself. Prior to homeschooling, it is extremely important that we take the time that we need to care for ourselves completely. I'm coming at you from a Christian perspective. I am not going to hide that. I am a Christian, and the first step into wanting to homeschool is ensuring that this vision that you have, the plan that you have, aligns with the plan that God has for you, your family, and your lives. That first step, caring for yourself spiritually, does not exist, or if you skip over that step, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm that best friend that is just going to give it to you like it is. It is going to be very difficult for you to have a successful, smooth transition, experience, and homeschooling journey. So you want to pray. You want to pray. You want to ask God if this is the plan that He has for you and for your family. Is this the right step? Never just dive into something because you just feel like, oh, well, maybe this could work. I'm upset about this thing, but maybe this other thing is the solution. Okay, that could actually be true, right? It could be a nudge that God is sending us into this direction to get started homeschooling. But you still need to talk to the Lord. You still need to take a step back and pray about it and pray over yourself and pray that God makes this transition smooth for you, because if it's right, it usually fits like a glove. If it's right, it fits like a glove. It works smoothly. God will guide you into the direction of where you need to be. So number one is to care for yourself spiritually before anything else. The second thing that I want you to do when you're considering homeschooling is to care for yourself physically. Now, if you are not in the best shape physically, how will you have the energy to homeschool your kids, your babies, your child, if you just have one? How will you be able to do that every single day? How are you going to show up for them every single day if you can't show up for yourself? You have to show up for yourself every single day so that you can be the best you for them, because it starts with us. It starts right here at home in our own hearts, physically making sure that we're okay. If there's things that we need to go to the doctor and get checked on, get checked with those things first. Because as you homeschool, things are going to happen. Life will still be lifing as you homeschool throughout the years. But if you start off without checking yourself physically and making sure that you're okay, you could be putting yourself and your kids at risk of falling behind or never getting a good jump start into the situation, into their learning experience. This is important. This is extremely, extremely important. If you continue to watch these videos and you continue to hear things from me, you're gonna learn about my own physical care journey that I had to go on. What I learned by having different type of things take place where it impacted me physically, and how that in turn impacted the learning experience of my babies. We can't stop and prevent every single thing. We can't. Some things are going to happen. But if we do our best and we put our best foot forward, we are setting ourselves up to be as successful as we can in that moment. So make sure that your doctor's appointments are up to date. If you need to go to the dentist, we don't need toothaches, right? Make sure that you're seeing your dentist twice a year. Make sure that you're just taking care of yourself all around. If you need to get your hair done, make sure that you are getting your hair done. Make sure that you keep your hair done so that you feel good every single day. And if it's not going to the shop and you're doing yours, however you need to get it done, make sure you're taking care of yourself, and make sure it's a routine and a habit that you formed before you homeschool. Let's go on to the next one. The next one is your mental health. Mental health. If our mindset is not in a position, in a place to be able to take on the load of homeschooling, we are going to break down at some point, and it absolutely will impact your child, your children's future. If you need to seek help, if you need to get therapy, if you need to talk to a psychiatrist is the one that prescribes medication, or a psychologist, a counselor, just to have that conversation, please do that. Please, 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 please. If you're not new to me, I'm Lisa. If you're not new to me or to this channel, you already know the importance of mental health for me. You already know the challenges that I've overcome, some of the challenges that I've had to overcome. But deal with the things that you need to deal with. Deal with the things that you've avoided, because they're going to come out in your homeschool if you don't. Because you're with your kids 24/7, all day, every day. That is a lot. A lot of people get breaks. They send their kids to school, they go to work. We don't get those breaks. And so being with your kids every day, it's going to bring up some old things from the past that you maybe thought was healed. So if you feel fine, excellent, great. Pray that God continues to allow you to be healed from those things, okay? But if you're feeling any type of way inside, if you're feeling like things are coming up and you don't know what they are, if you're lashing out, if you feel like you're scrolling on your phone all day, if you can't sit in peace within yourself, figure out what's going on. Talk to your primary care doctor. Have a referral if you need to for a therapist. I am all about therapy. I'm not going to hide that. I am all about talking to someone. But get that done before you sit down in frustration, in anger and frustration with your kids. One of the biggest questions that I get outside of how you homeschool is, how do you do it every single day? How do you show up calm, with care and love with your kids? How do you not get frustrated when they don't know the answer to something? It's because I take care of my mental health. So I'm not pouring from an empty cup. I'm not showing up upset and angry about anything, because I am aware of the situation. This was a choice. I made a choice to homeschool. It was a choice to be here and to show up for them. And in choosing that, you need to show up completely healed. If you're going through the healing process, that's okay too. But make an effort to take care of your mental health. And these are not things that you're going to typically hear when you hear that people are homeschooling. But your mental health, if unchecked, will absolutely impact your child or your children's mental health. So take care of you first. All right, let's move on to the next one. Emotional care. Mental health and your emotional care kind of seems like it goes hand in hand, but I'm going to take a different spin on that. You want to make sure that the reasons that you are homeschooling is not because you're so upset at the school for a bad day, maybe a couple bad days. Bad days are going to happen. It doesn't mean it's a bad life. I know right now, politically, there's a lot going on, but don't take your emotions out on the president or whatever's going on with politics. Don't take that out on your babies. Don't snatch them away from everything that they know because you're just upset in this moment. Think through it. I'm not saying that two things can't be true. You can be really upset and you can want to pull your kids from that environment. You just want to make sure that it's the best thing, the best timing for you to do that. So make sure that your emotions are in check, because your kids, if you're removing them from school, and I'm talking to those that are taking your kids out of school, if you're removing them from school, they're not going to understand that politics is taking them away from school. They're not going to understand that mommy or daddy is having a bad day or a bad moment and they snatched me out of school. In their mind, that's what they see, that you just went and you snatched them away. So make sure that you are regulating your emotions and your feelings so that you're not making an impulse decision based off of how you feel for that day. Because a new order was signed in and now your kids have to come out of school. Pump the brakes, okay? Work through your emotions. Work through your feelings. I'm not saying that at the end of the day, you're not going to pull those kids out of school, because you may pull your babies out because you feel like this is what God is telling you to do. Follow God's plan. Keep him involved. Work with him on that. I'm not here to tell you what to do with your babies, because I only know what to do with mine, with the blessings that God gave me. God gave you those blessings for a different reason. So you work with him on what the next step is for you and your family. What I am here to say, though, is make sure that you regulate your emotions, because the last thing you want to do, again, is bring those sweet babies home and everybody's miserable because it was premature. So let's work on regulating those things ahead of time before we bring our babies home, so that we can bring them home to an environment that's joyous, an environment that's calm, an environment that's loving and nurturing and provides all the things that they need to be successful. Okay? All right, let's move on. With speaking about all of these things, spiritually, caring for yourself physically, caring for yourself mentally, caring for yourself emotionally, caring for yourself is the underlying thing, the elephant in the room, if you will, that I want you to do. I want you to know that in order to be good at homeschool, in order to be great at homeschooling, you have to care for yourself. They go hand in hand. And a lot of times we think about homeschooling and our kids and caring for them, and those are the only things that we weigh. But first, care for yourself so that you can provide for them everything that they need. Everything else can be taught. You can learn how to teach them English, even if you weren't good at it in school. And I'll help you with that. If you stick around me, I will help you with that. We can build your confidence. We can learn how to do division again. We can learn how to do algebra. Those things aren't scary. Those aren't the scary things. The scary thing is having a mom or a dad, because I know we have some homeschooling dads, that did not take care of themselves before they decided to homeschool, or having parents that don't take care of themselves. They don't have a routine to take care of themselves and cover themselves while they're homeschooling. I can't do this without God. I can't. My faith keeps me going. Having a foundation in God, trusting that this and knowing that this is where God wants me, keeps me grounded on the hard days, because there will be hard days. There absolutely will be hard days. There will be days where you feel like, I'm doing everything wrong. Why am I here? How did I get here? Am I failing them? Those days are gonna come. And we're gonna talk about failing your kids. Can you fail your kids? What happens if you feel like you failed your kids? We're gonna talk about how to pull them out of school if they're in school. We're gonna talk about how to put them back in school, because I've experienced that as well. Some of you may know that I have a high schooler and he was homeschooled, and I pulled him out of public school and I put him back in public school years later. We're gonna talk about it. So, if you're excited to go on this journey with me, where I'm holding your hand as your best friend, I'm gonna be your best friend, your homegirl, whatever you need me to be. I'm gonna be her to walk you through this process. And if you just are here because you needed a refresher, you needed a reality check, I'm gonna be your friend for that too. So, I hope that you're excited to come along with me on this journey. I am extremely excited to tag along with you on this journey. God has so much in store for me and so much in store for you. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.